Commission of Police was served with this motion, and they still have this was definitely at the court.
Yes, very well. Very well. Most grateful, Your Worship. Your Worship, we have.
We were for the 7 and that respondents at that time.
Very well, Your Worship. Very well. Your Worship, we have objection to the application of my learned friend. Reasons being that, Your Worship, the court order now in the hand of Your Worship, having been submitted by my learned friend, is only an extract. In fact, my Lord, is only 1/4 of the entire judgment of His Lordship. In the same judgment, Your Worship, if the main judgment is so produced before Your Worship, you will discover, with all respect, Your Worship, that prayer 1 is expressly refused in the judgment. And we shall be supplying, Your Worship, with the full judgment of His Lordship, being the Honorable Court 15. Prayer 1 is the one that talks about restraining. There was a declaration seeking for, declaring that the arrest of the applicant by the officers and etc. were unlawful. And this prayer 1, I very much remember, and which copy I assure this Honorable Court that I would make available a full copy of the full judgment, Your Worship, where Your Worship will see it expressly refused. That prayer 1 is expressly refused. That is one, Your Worship. Secondly, Your Worship, the first order of the Honorable Court, as rightly read by my learned friend, reads, and I quote, an injunction is hereby granted restraining the second respondent, whether by himself or by his officers, servants, agents, brigands, from further detaining or in any other manner infringing on the fundamental rights of the applicant. The wordings are very clear, Your Worship. In any other manner infringing on their fundamental. Your Worship. It is set law, Your Worship, that section 214 sub 2b of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 214 sub 2b, says that the police shall have power to perform such duties as may be conferred on them by law. Now, the Police Act, Your Worship, is one of such laws duly enacted by the National Assembly. And section 23 of this Police Act, Your Worship, vests power on the police to prosecute. Your Worship, in fact, section 23 of the Police Act derives its power from the Constitution. Yes. And the same Constitution, by virtue of section 1 sub 3, says, if this Constitution is supreme, and if any other law is inconsistent with the provision of this Constitution, including the rules, the decision, judgment of the court, is inconsistent with the provision of Your Worship, with all respect, Your Worship. It's okay, Your Worship. Most guided. Now, if any other, yes, Your Worship, if any other law is inconsistent, very well, Your Worship. I stand to be corrected. Most guided, Your Worship. All we are submitted before this Honorable Court is that the police is before this court to arraign and prosecute the accused persons named in the FIR. There is no law that is ever envisaged that the police should be stopped from prosecuting. The express wordings of the order of the court is that on no account should they any longer be detained. Your Worship, prosecution is not an... Your Worship.
Look at the order.
Order one, Your Worship.
Injunction is the tail end of that.
Yes, Your Worship.
In any manner.
Yes, Your Worship. Yes, Your Worship.
Fundamental rights.
Now, Your Worship. Yes, Your Worship, with all respect. With all respect, Your Worship. Your Worship, with all respect. The wordings in any manner there, Your Worship, does not in any stretch of imagination refer to any of the provisions as contained in chapter 4 of the Constitution. We all know the fundamental rights as enshrined in chapter 4, Your Worship. Now, prosecution by the police is never one of any such rights. Your Worship, it is your...
In the meantime, you should hold on.
Yes, Your Worship.
That's what we are saying.
Later on,
Was there any judgment?
There was no judgment. The matter, the substantive matter.
This order is dated 13 January.
It's 13.
Your worship, this it was to take on Monday.
Your worship,
Very well.
your worship.
So this order is still valid,
At
current
court,
and subsisting.
at court,
Your worship,
What they are saying, what the court is not stopping the police from carrying out their lawful duties.
very well.
What the High Court simply says is that the police should hold on so far as the mass is concerned. For the meantime,
your worship, your worship may not, your worship should not be misled by my learned friend. It's not that the police should hold on. The Honorable Court has already decided, finally, your worship. Judgment, this is the final judgment of the Honorable Court. And I have told his worship that if his worship will be so patient, we will make available the full judgment where the question of arrest was expressly refused. That the declaration that it should be declared that the arrest was unlawful. His lordship is there, your worship. All it requires is patience for us to make available before his worship, because when my worship appears to be about to be misled.
my lord of justice, you can stand up.
As the court pleases.
I will go to his lordship.
As court
Yes,
pleases.
your worship. Yes, your worship. Because his lordship.
As the court pleases. In the interest of justice, your worship. Amicus Curia, your worship.
I will see his lordship.
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Very well.